Okay, guys, back at it again, working on the Stratus. And as you can see, we've got suspension that we're working on this time. And while we do that, we're also going to get the brakes and the rotors taken care of. So, the first thing I did was separate everything. So, this is the right side. And I got everything from Detroit Axle. So, seemed to be a pretty good suspension place. So if you're going to order parts for a suspension system, I heard they're a pretty good company. So we'll see. So anyway, got the full suspension. Everything is separated. Need to move my tools. So just kind of have everything separated again. And got the car jacked up, tire underneath, jack stands, hoods up so I can get to these right there. And then, so I've already kind of gotten started on it, but I almost didn't film this. I think it's going to be quite the project, but getting help from my buddies and also from Chris Fix, so on how to get this job done. So I've already kind of gotten started. So I removed this centerpiece here, and then I'm taking off the whole brake caliper, the rotor, stuff like that. Only thing is, I'm trying to figure out where to put this, because you never want it hanging from the brake line, and it wraps behind this piece right here. So I'm gonna have to figure out where to put that, but I'll keep you updated on it. So I just took this off, and then the 2 bolts that hold this on. So once I figure out where to put this, then we'll get back to it. But I'm gonna have to get to this, and you can see it's just super crusty. There's so much buildup on here. So this is gonna be fun to try to get off. So I'm gonna get to that, and I will update y'all. Okay, so now I had to take this off from there in order to move this whole caliper over here. I still need to figure out where exactly to put this because this line is kind of short. I was thinking about kind of zip tying it to this right here, but it's kind of short, so I'm gonna have to figure out where to put that. But I was able to get this off. It was actually not super difficult, but that castle nut, the pin came off in pieces, which is fine because I have a new pin, but it wasn't all that bad. So this was actually a huge help. This heavy duty power drill. So let's see, this I think this is a 19 mil, but this seemed to do the job pretty well. I did try to use my ratchet, but I felt the bending as I was trying to break it loose, and so I said, yeah, I really don't want to break my ratchet. So went ahead and grabbed Big Bertha here, and it came off with ease, as you can imagine. So I wasn't worried about breaking anything because all of this is being replaced. So this is where I'm at now. Still need to figure out exactly where to put that. Right now it's just kind of sitting right there, but you never want to leave the caliper hanging. So I'm gonna have to figure out where to route that thing to get it to hang properly. But I'm gonna finish taking off the rest of this. So really, Chris Fix has a really good video on how to do all of this, but I'm just kind of wanting to give y'all just kind of the little nuances of this car. You know, again, in case you're working on this car, I'm just wanting to let y'all know what I find as far as what goes on the Stratus. So I'll keep y'all updated. Okay, so on to the next part. So I got that zip tied there. So that's done. So I'm trying to figure out how to take this part off. And it's a bit different than the one in Chris's video. No surprise there, you know, two different vehicles. But looks like to take this off, there's a castle nut right underneath there. So, and I have this part here, right there. And then there's one more that's gonna be hard to get to. That's right there. So, right there. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get to that one. I think that one's gonna be a pain, but then this whole thing should come out. And I'm gonna clean it up, make sure I take this off, have the new one on, or put the new one on, and then put all the rest of these supporting parts like this, take this whole tower out, which will be done from up here. And then make sure I put all the other little suspension parts on, but I'll let y'all know how that goes. And then put the new rotor and brakes on and should be good to go. I'm gonna clean this up too. So it looks like it's been leaking in the past because there's a lot of buildup, and underneath that buildup, you can see like it's been some fluid or something. So I'm gonna have to inspect that. So I'll inspect that after I get everything taken off here, so I have a good view of that. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so just a heads up, this one here is a 17. So I don't know why this one's a different size. Maybe, I don't know. But that one's a 17, and that was a 19 for some reason. So just a heads up. So I'm thinking this one back here, I think it's gonna be also a 17, but we'll see. I'll let y'all know. All right, I needed some assistance getting this off, so.
Thing's been through like 4 world wars. break something before it comes out.
Yeah, don't break your stuff.
Might be stud now.
On there pretty good.
That device is a lot easier yesterday. So you're gonna have to take the wheel bearing loose
Okay.
on the back side. And then we'll pull the wheel bearing off and see if it separates. Booming.
Yep. I was hoping to get that whole piece off so I can, you know what I'm saying?
No.
No?
You didn't really explain it.
I just nod my head and act like I always know what people would say.
You just said, I hope I get that whole piece off and
Well, if I get the piece off, then it's easier to get to the 3 nuts so I can get the hub off. But
You know, most men only have 2 nuts.
I've got 3.
Yeah. You're special. Yeah, I'm special too. I'm just special ed.
These back here, right there. Don't break your tool, man. Like I said, I already broke one of mine.
The reason I paid good money for my tools. Warranties. Very fast.
Is that gonna burn through the rubber?
Not nothing you're not replacing.
You got it off? All right, so it looks like I'm replacing that knuckle after all, huh?
If you can separate CV axle, then no.
Well, I can't put a bolt back in that.
Yeah, you can. All that flak will come right off. What's it? It's really bright when you do that with no glasses. Oh, yeah, you can. Already came out? Jesus.
You're good.
Now you just have to separate that from that. That's the trick.
think you got it loose.
The bearing, I do. But not that. Not this though. This is what's killing us right now. Now that we can see that. It just separated. Not this, that in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have to see if you can get these separated or something.
Well,
Or just buy a new CV axle and cut it off or something.
I'm gonna need new bolts, right?
Yeah, they don't come with them.
No. Which sucks.
Usually do.
Unless it's underneath that packing. So, and then so a new knuckle and bolts. Okay. New knuckle, new bolts. So, is it fine to sit here until that stuff comes in?
Yeah, ain't hurting nothing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna clean up. Go ahead and get that ordered. When it comes here, I mean, should I? Well, I can't even put everything back together until I get those parts.
Nope. Sure can't.
Okay, so that's what I'll do. I'll order that and then get back to it.
Oh, man.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sorry it's such a pain in the rear.
You're fine with it. It's not that much of a pain.
All right, well, guys, as you can see, and as you know, things don't always go according to plan, so we had a bolt that we had to actually melt off because someone put the wrong bolts in there, and I guess putting it on, they end up stripping it, so we had to melt it off, and I'm just gonna have to get a new knuckle and these bolts for the hub. So once that gets done, then I will continue putting this suspension putting all the new suspension in there. Good news is I think the passenger side is golden. I think it'll be a lot easier. So hopefully I don't go through this, but I will update y'all whenever these new parts come in. Yep.
The little books.
It came out just in parts, in pieces. So, yeah. I'm just gonna get this on recording. Huh?
I run out of cocaine, man. I never seen one this bad. She's not even trying. I'm just mushrooming it.
You think someone red lock tightened it?
I don't know. Probably gonna have to just cut a.
You have a sawzall, maybe we could just cut that middle part.
Yeah, you go through 10 blades trying to get through that.
Okay. Smoking.
Next, we'll cut it here in and go around it, and then it should separate.
Okay. Removing this bolt now. So I'm gonna take this deal out here. So I think it's just about time. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take this part off, which I just took the bolt off, and connect it to this tower here. So, because I just noticed that this did not come with that part. So, I'm just gonna have to take it off of here. So, I'm gonna try beating it off with a hammer. So, see if I can get it off of here and then put it onto the new part. Okay, so whenever you're removing this thing, don't take off that center nut. Which I didn't, but just the 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which are the ones that are up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that one on. So, trying to take the hammer to get this deal off, but I'm gonna see if I could just slightly separate it here and then pull it the rest of the way off. Okay, to get this off easy, just kind of spread that and it should just pull off. And I'm just gonna spread that again and put it onto there and then put the bolt back on there, which is this one here. So don't mix this one and this one. So this is the bottom bolt. That's the, well, so this one goes on here. And the other one is going to actually go onto the bottom. So one goes on the top and one goes on the bottom. That's the top, that's the bottom. All right, y'all. back at it again, trying to get the suspension off. So I got the new CV axle, came in and I got it installed. So you just pull the old one out and put the new one in. So sometimes it takes a little bit of kind of shaking it and trying to get it at the right angle to get this axle pulled out, but it'll eventually come out. It's like a little snap ring on the end of it that allows you to get it pulled out of the transmission. So be aware that when you pull this, there's going to be transmission fluid that comes out. So just be aware of that. But you can just take some of that transmission fluid, put it on the end of that CV axle, then put it back in there, and then make sure that you top off your transmission after you're done too. So I'm getting down to it on this side. So I've just got this lower control arm that I need to take off. Looks like it goes all the way back there, another side all the way over there, and then the inner and outer tie rod. So that's what I'm working on now. I just loosened that clip right there. So I'm gonna figure out how to slide this boot off to get the tie rod. So that's the new one right there. So that's the inner there, and that's the outer right there. So I'm gonna, and then this is the lower control arm. So that's what it looks like. So once I get that out, then everything will be completely removed, and then we can start putting all the new stuff in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to that. But before that, we finally got this hub out of that knuckle. So we literally had to just, it's cold now, so, but melt the whole thing off, which is pretty crazy, but do what you gotta do. So it was a doozy. Anyway, once I get this tie rod out of there, I'll update y'all, let you know how to get everything out of there. Okay, got the inner and outer tie rod off. So how I did it was I used this tool right here. So you put it around the end of this while it's on there, and you just twist it. So I use an extension just to squeeze it in there to get this off. So as you're loosening it, it'll eventually come off, but you gotta wrap it around this piece right here. So, and that'll all come out as one. So whenever you're doing this, I ripped my boot. I just cut it. I have a new one, a replacement for it, so I'm just gonna be taking this old boot off. But you may not have to cut your boot, especially if you don't have a new boot. I don't recommend cutting the old one if you don't have to. On the other side, I may not cut that one. I may see if I can get away with just getting this piece off without having to tear up that boot, but we'll see. But anyway, that's how you get this part off. So now that this is off, I'm gonna have to measure this piece right here to make sure that it's the same length as the other one. So that's what I'm gonna do now, is just make my measurements. And then after I think that this deal is all correct, I'm gonna start working on my lower control arm. And once I get that out, then I can start putting all the new parts back in. So I'm gonna do everything in the reverse order. So, don't know if y'all heard me over all that banging, but I'm just gonna do everything in the reverse order. Okay, so I got the bolt loose from this left side. So you can see it's out of there. And it's got that nifty handle right there to help to get that bolt out of there so it doesn't keep spinning. But on this side, I didn't have one, but I just had a buddy help me out holding a wrench on the top side, and then I just drilled the bottom side out. So just be careful if you're using one of these heavy duty drills that you don't strip the nut out of there. But that's how I got those sides off. And then there's one more, which is right here, which I'm in the middle of taking off now. So after I get that out, then this whole lower control arm should come out, and that'll be the last piece besides this boot that I still need to take off. And then I'll start installing the rest of the stuff. So to get this lower control arm off, again, there's a bolt right there. You can see where the hole is. And then, let's see. Right there. And then not last but not least is this one right here. So, and then this whole deal should come off. And then I'm gonna install this, and then the inner and outer tie rod, and then probably the spring, and go from there. But I'll keep you updated as I go. Okay, so when you're taking this screw off, there's a hex in the middle of this this nut. So that bolt has a hex pattern to it, so that you can get this nut off and ultimately get that bolt off. So I'm not sure what the correct size is. This here, let me see if you can see it. Well, hang on. There we go. Looks like a 6. I believe that's a 6. But you just go ahead and put it in there. And this bolt here is extremely tight. Like, it has grime and a whole bunch of stuff on there, so it's taken me a really long time to get off of there. And I tried holding it with my hands at first, and that was working for a little bit, but then I had to ultimately get some leverage. So I've been leaning this hex key up against this, and then just taking my ratcheting wrench and just slowly, because you don't want to strip the middle of this. If you strip the middle of that, you're gonna have a really hard time getting this off. So I use this as leverage, and just take it really slow to watch that you don't strip this hex pattern, or this nut for that matter. So it's coming off just extremely slow, but just a heads up on this part right here. All right, so it sucks, but this was rusted onto here, and I got down to it and eventually stripped this out. So I even went really slow, but it's kind of inevitable since this is just, I mean, it's pretty much seized on there. So since I have a new one of these sway bar links, I ain't asking anymore. We're just gonna go ahead and cut this deal off and then install the new ones. The new ones have the new nut and all of that good stuff, so I don't need this. Okay, got it off of there. Now I just need to get to that bolt on the other side, or the nut on the other side. Hopefully this isn't the same situation, but we'll see what happens. You get that off, and then get the boot off, and we're done getting everything off. Okay, learned something here. So I got this off, so that goes like that, just for my future reference. But there's nuts on this other side, so you can put a tool on there, I just chose to cut mine off because it was being annoying, but I didn't know about these here. But you can squeeze a tool in there if you're able to get down in there. That's a 19 mil, so just a heads up, it's a 19. Put your 19 on there, and then go ahead and take the nut off on the other side. I use the power drill, so you could use, if you don't have a power drill, that's fine. You can use just regular hand tools. It's a 19. You'll need two 19s though. So one to hold this side, and then one to get the nut off of that side so that this doesn't move. But she's off of there now, just to get this off. And then we're done getting everything off. Okay, so I got that boot off. Easy way to get it off is to, where'd that deal go? Welp. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. All right. So when this is on here, you just got to locate that side there. So the rest of it, it's just a smooth band, but there's one part that sticks up. You just take a screwdriver and squeeze it in there and just kind of wiggle it in there, and then that'll just kind of pop right off. So once you get that off, then you just pull it off. So just take the band off and just pull the boot, and it'll come right off. So the real trick is going to be getting it back in there, but that's how you get it off. All right, and kind of just like that, we're done. So got the strut tower in there, got the knuckle in there, got the hub on there, rotors, brakes, you can see them peeking in there. We're gonna compress the brakes here in a little bit. Inner, outer tie rod end, boots, lower control arm. Pretty much, I mean, really the whole suspension is new. So this part right here is just a huge metal knuckle. And then this is just, I don't know what this part is called, but this part we just reused because the kit didn't come with a new one, which is fine because this is just one metal piece. So that's not gonna go bad, but all the bushings and stuff like that replaced. The sway bar link, all that good stuff. So this thing should, after getting in alignment, drive like a dream, like a whole new car, really. So we did have to use a different center nut because this one, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but you can't really tell from here, but it's a little warped. So you can see up here where it's kind of warped. So I'm not sure how that happened, but either way it goes, we got a new one. So awesome, it's looking great. So go on over here, and she's looking all pretty too. So one of these weird brake pads, it's got like claws on it, stuff, but it's all looking good. Greased all the parts that we were supposed to put grease on. Had to add that little fitting there, put the grease in there. So that's all done. So I'm gonna pump the brakes, but this is done. So replace the entire front suspension on this car, and it was an absolute pain. What do you think, Thane? Was it a pain? No? Okay, well,
Maybe for you.
it was a pain for me. Thank you very much.